joining us. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Leah. Today we're going to go over our brush collections. I'm going to start with foundation. Really the only foundation brush that I have is from Mark. I was into more heavier,
Full coverage.
thank you, full coverage. Full coverage foundations about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I really love this brush. It's really soft. It blends out pretty well, and
It's cheap.
It is cheap. Totally worth it. It was like, what, $8?
Maybe. Yeah. I have two of the same Mark brushes. Like she said, a foundation brush is going to give you a more full coverage. So I have two of those. They're pretty good. I don't use them very often anymore either. I went through a spell where I did, but they are cheap if you want to try something like that. Even cheaper would be the e.l.f. I have an e.l.f. brush from, I think I got it maybe at Big Lots for like $1. Everything from e.l.f. is cheap. It's thinner. It's a little flimsier. It kind of gives more give here, but it was $1. So if you want to try a foundation brush just for the sake of trying one, you're not going to waste a whole lot of money with this one. It's not bad. I also have one from Avon that's probably my favorite. It's a little softer than the Mark, and I don't know, just when I decide to use one, I usually go for this one. I'm not sure that they still sell this exact one, but they do still have some. And then my favorite for foundations is the Sonia Kashuk flat top brush. This is actually, it's dirty, I used it today, but it's nice and dense, very, very soft. It's about $15 at Target. And what I do with this now is when I apply my foundation, either Revlon Color Stay or the Revlon Color Stay Whipped, I just dab it all over my face, and then I use this to buff it in. And that's if I decide not to use my hands or a Beauty Blender knockoff. But I did use it today, and it's really nice for just kind of buffing everything in.
Next we have our concealer brushes. I just have one. I actually got this in a set from Bare Essentials that had 3 different brushes that will all be talked about. But this one is Light Stroke. It's supposed to be used with their concealer powder, and it does work pretty well for that. But I actually even use it with cream foundations. I'll scoop some out onto my hand, rub it around, and dab it on, and just blend it out with my fingertip. It works really well. I like it. The end.
I have 2 concealer brushes from Mark, and the reason I have so many Mark brushes is I started selling Mark in like 2005, so I have a ton of their stuff. But this is my favorite concealer brush. That's why I have 2 of them. I used one today. I use it right under the eyes. I don't usually get a whole lot of acne or anything, so I don't use it for that. But it's a nice, very soft, not too flimsy and not too stiff. It has a little bit of give, so you're not like dragging it on your eye. And again, they're cheap. They're like maybe $6 or $7. I also have this brush from the art store. It's like a paintbrush actually, but it's a very flat and thin, I don't know, I feel like it feels like a natural hair, but I really don't know. But it was like $4 at Michael. It says Royal Soft Grip. That might be the brand. But it has this nice little grippy here for painters when you paint your face. But it's really nice for like right under the eye in the inner corner if you need to do some heavy concealing there. That's what I use that for.
Next we have powder brushes. This is one of the other brushes that I got with the Bare Essentials. It's the Feather Light brush. It's to be used with their Feather Light Mineral Veil. It gives a lot. It's really soft. It gives a really soft finish. I actually put a rubber band around it and then kind of use it as a stippling brush, or I'll just hold it tight to my fingers and rub things in. So yeah, sometimes I used to use it as a highlighting brush because it is so, it has such a light finish, but I have something else I use for that now, so I found a different use for this one. And then I have the Stila 21. This is a really dense powder brush that I actually use for blending in foundation. I put my foundation on with my hands. I let it sit for a little bit. I'll do my eyes or lips or something, usually my eyes. And then I'll blend in to make sure that all of, there's not any like weird not seams, what is that? Lines, I don't know why I want to say seams. I don't want any seams on my face. Just make sure there aren't any lines and everything's just blended in really nicely.
I'm gonna stop here for a second.
This is a mineral foundation brush from Mary Kay. It comes with their mineral powder foundation. I don't even know if they sell it anymore.
I feel like I've seen it recently because I can identify that handle.
So, but it's a pretty good, it works pretty well with their mineral foundation. I got into Bare Essentials and I actually prefer the Stila for that. But it's a pretty good brush, really kind of middle of the road to cheaper side, in my opinion. It's not very soft. It actually kind of, if you have like sensitive skin, like I have sensitive areas, thank you, and I can't really use it on that side. So, you know, if you were buying a mineral brush, I wouldn't really recommend this one. The other, this is sort of an all-over powder brush for me if I'm doing a setting powder, is, the handle fell off, I've had it for like 10 years, is Mary Kay brush. I got it in their brush set and it works really well. I mean, it doesn't shed at all. It maybe does once in a while when I wash it, but I can't, it doesn't even like really register that it would shed in my mind. So it's really nice, simple, easy, you know, what you would think of a powder brush. And then my last powder brush is this. It's Sonia Kashuk It's the Sonia Kashuk fan brush. I love this brush. It's incredibly soft. It just gives a really light finish if I just want to, if I'm wearing more of a dewy foundation and I just want to do a little bit of powder, I don't want to like really give a matte finish, I would dust. I also use this for highlighter, and just because it does a really great job of just setting a little bit there at the end.
I also have that Stila 21 brush. I actually found this when, I guess Stila was being repurchased by another brand or something. I think they were getting rid of it in the JCPenney Sephora's for a little while, and these were like 10 bucks. That's not the normal price if they still exist. But it's really soft, like she said. I do the same thing. I just kind of like buff out my foundation if there's any like weird line or anything that I can't work out with something else. And that's pretty much what I use it for. It really only sheds when I wash it, so it's not a big bother, but it's so soft and I love this. I use it all the time. My most recent purchase is this Eco Tools. I think this is considered their bronzing brush, but I don't bronze, so this is my powder brush. It stands up on its own, which is awesome because I have a little cup full of my million brushes that have short handles or skinny handles, and I don't have room for something like this. But I love it. It's so soft. It was like maybe $8. It's the last brush I purchased in like maybe a year. I don't know, but I would definitely be interested in trying more of their brushes. It's so soft. I guess I don't know if this is I don't know if this is bamboo.
I think it is real bamboo.
I feel like that their thing is that it's Eco Tools, it's eco-friendly, it's kind of natural, not necessarily organic, but so that's always a plus. It's not something that I look for specifically, obviously, but it's a nice thing to have. It's a nice feature if it's something that I need and is already affordable. So I really love this. I use my Rimmel powder and just use it all over my face. And then I have one more powder brush, and this is the Essence of Beauty powder brush, like a purse size powder brush, because for some reason I thought I needed a powder brush in my purse. But I don't ever like reapply my makeup in my car, or, well, no, that's a lie. I do it in my car, but I don't reapply like powder at all, ever. I don't know why. But I bought this and I wouldn't buy it again. It was very inexpensive, like maybe $4, and they always have sales, but it's not soft at all. This is actually what I give my son when I'm in the bathroom putting my makeup on and he just wants to play with my stuff. I'm like, here, touch, because I don't care for it. I wouldn't be sad if it was lost.
Up next we have blush and contour. I'll start with Mary Kay, again from the brush that I got. This is their blush brush. And I tend to use this now more for cream blushes. Which I actually, like, I don't really use that much anymore, but I was into them, I think, the beginning of last year. Anyways.
We have all these brushes for cycles that we
go
through. I don't use this brush anymore because it's not a trend that I follow at the moment.
If I showed you the brushes I used today, it was for like 4 maybe. But it works really well because it's pretty dense, and so it, you know, can blend out cream color really well. For powder color, I felt like it's too dense for powder color. Just like there's too much on my face. So this is my most recent purchase in brushes. This is Real Techniques setting brush. I use it for blush and contour. Other, you know, like blush brushes are, for me, they're humongous. And I want more precision when I apply. So this has worked out really well. It gives a little bit, actually can give quite a bit if you're really going to press on it, but it seems to hold its shape really well as you're applying powder. And it's really soft. I've really enjoyed this brush. Up next, I have Bare Essentials Angled Face Brush. This is their, this is their contouring brush. It's just too big for that for me. I tried to use it. I would flip it upside down and try and use the small side to have like more precise. I just couldn't really get into it. It is soft, but it just seems more like a, if I'm just gonna do like a quick, really light color, like Afternoon Delight, that blush that I talk about in our top 12 of 2012. This is well used because it's a really sheer color. I can just wash it over my cheeks and I don't have to worry about it. But if I'm using a darker color on my cheeks, I really have to use precision.
My first blush brush here is an old Avon blush brush. It's very, very soft. It was very inexpensive, maybe $3 or $4. I feel like it's a nice shape. It's a little bit fluffy, but it's not too much or too little. I really love this. I use it all the time. I mostly use it for my highlighter. I use like a powder highlighter, and I only put it right here on my cheeks. It is a little large, but I don't like load the whole brush head and then put it all over my face. I just tap it a little bit, and it's very soft and gives a nice light application. I like that a lot. And then I also have 2 of the Essence of Beauty control powder, but basically a contour brush. And I use them pretty exclusively for my blush. I don't use any kind of like bronzer or anything. So I'll just tap it in, and I don't use it the way it's supposed to be used. I just kind of like, just swipe and pat. But it's very soft. They're always on sale, like buy one, get one, or buy one, get one 50 off at CVS. So for this brand, I do recommend these control powders, and another one that we'll talk about in a minute. Definitely a higher quality than the purse size blush brush, and I love this brush.
Next up, we have little miscellaneous brushes. Some aren't really brushes. My first up is this spoolie. It's Sonia Kashuk. I've had this for probably too long. It's probably time to get a new one. I use it to brush out my eyebrows before I apply any eyebrow powder, because I get a lot, because the way I do foundation is I rub it all over my face, which includes my eyebrows, so I have to get the foundation out of my eyebrows first before I can color them back in. So this has worked really well for me for that. I bend over the top, it just works better for me. Then there is, and these are really inexpensive at Target, so. This is from Essence of Beauty. This is their comb eyebrow eyeliner brush. I don't use the brush for eyeliner. I use it to fill in my eyebrows. It's really thin. It's a little bit wide, which is why I don't use it for eyeliner, because I want more of something I can control better. So for me, for eyebrows, this worked really well for that. I never use the comb, but I do use the brush after I've applied in color to my eyebrows to brush it out to make sure there's no harsh lines.
I have the same Sonia Kashuk spoolies. I don't know why I bought these because I never use them. I did use them briefly when I had like mascaras that maybe I was trying a new mascara and it would clump, and I didn't maybe have the right tool to separate them. I used to separate my eyelashes with needles in like high school. It's like the worst idea ever, and I'm going to show you a solution for that in just a minute. But I used to like, try to brush through them, because these, the Sonia Kashuk brow eye tool things, these are flimsy, they break easily, they move a lot, you can like play music on them, and they're ineffective. So I would rather brush with a dry brush than to try to use this comb and fight with it. So I have 2 of them, don't really use them a whole lot. I'll probably give them to Leah for her eyebrows. But I do use the brush ends of these for the same reason, to brush and kind of set my eyebrows. I actually will fill them in with pencil, put some chapstick original on them. That's the only thing that I found that keep my unruly brows in place, and then brush this in to get them to set. So I have 2 of those as well. I have this old Avon 2-ended brush. One end is a spoolie. Again, I don't use it a lot. It actually like keeps twisting out. I should just throw that piece away. And then the other end that I keep this for is one of those like spongy smudge tip things. I don't know if you can even see it, but I use this, or I did use this for a very, very long time, many years, to smudge out my eyeliner if I put something on, or to apply like a cream eyeshadow or eyeliner as eyeliner. It has a nice little point at the end that hasn't disintegrated or fallen apart yet, so I hold on to it for that. Don't use it too often, but I did for a very long time. It has a little sentimental value. My next miscellaneous brush is actually, it's miscellaneous just because it has 2 uses. These are the Merle Norman small eyeshadow brushes. They are very thin and flat. They are pretty stiff with, I mean, they're stiff with give, like what you would want to use around maybe the bottom of your eye, the soft eye area. The reason I say that they're dual use is because I do use them for eyeshadow and for concealer. I have 2, and that's kind of how we use them when I worked in Merle Norman. They're multi-purpose, so that's why they're in this category. I have 2. They're about $15 a piece, and they're pretty handy. I use them pretty often. I also have this random lip brush that I've had since I was maybe like 12 years old. It's an Estee Lauder lip brush. I never use it really because I mostly use like MAC lip gloss that already has an applicator. So if I'm using a lipstick, I might use this, or if I'm using something in a pot, which currently I have nothing that I would need this for. But I keep it around because occasionally I'll buy something on a whim and I'll need something to apply with, and this is what I'll use. And here is that solution to using needles around your eyes. Not a good idea. This is a foldable lash comb. I got this at Sally Beauty. They had at least 3 different types there. You can buy them probably anywhere. I know Ulta has them. Sephora probably has them. But they literally are like, I don't know how many are here, but let's say 30 little metal, almost like needles, but they are very short. Unless you went straight into your eyeball, you're not going to hurt yourself with this. But this is going to separate and comb out any clumps in your mascara. If you just have a problem mascara, or if your mascara is getting dry and you just can't seem to get rid of it, or if you just have crazy eyelashes that want to clump up no matter what, this will actually work where those plastic combs don't. And this was maybe like $8 at Sally's. But there, like I said, there are a variety, and it's so nice. I really wish that I had found this a long time ago in high school. Would have saved myself a lot of trouble. And then my last miscellaneous thing is this miniature brush kit from Mark. I'm actually missing a brush, and I don't know which one it is, but it disappeared a long time ago, so I've got tweezers in here instead. And I do keep this in my car because even though I don't apply powder or concealer or anything during the day, I do keep a little blush, a lip gloss, and an eyeshadow in my car just in case I find myself like in need of it. Like if I'm going like to do groceries or something and somebody calls and I have to go show up somewhere and I don't have any makeup on, at least I can put on some blush and eyeshadow and have a little toolkit there with me. So I keep that in my car.